Christopher Nolan is a director who can gin up excitement from across the board, whether you are a film industry professional, a film historian, a cinema expert, or a movie reviewer like myself, or even a casual audience member. He is generating so much excitement, especially for his upcoming adaptation of the Greek epic, The Odyssey. So much so that the pre-sale tickets for his 70 millimeter IMAX screenings are selling out, and scalpers are reselling them. Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Berry. Welcome to the StudioJake vidcast, where I talk about all things pop culture. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and if you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. For a variety of reasons, Nolan parted ways with Warner Brothers. That's where his film studio had been housed for several decades, especially since the Dark Knight trilogy, being Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. Now he is making films at Universal Studios, the latest one being, of course, The Odyssey, an adaptation of one of my personal favorite Greek epics. I'm so excited to see this. The cast looks amazing. We've got Matt Damon playing Odysseus and Tom Holland playing his son. I think it's going to be a really good film. I'm not the only one who's excited about it, though, as IMAX screenings for the 70 millimeter version have gone on pre-sale. We have seen people pick them up and then try to resell them as scalpers. So this is according to the AV Club. Terrible news for cinephiles who don't want to fight their own Eras Tour-esque war for tickets every time there's a big new release. The days of deciding to catch a blockbuster days or even weeks in advance may soon be coming to an end. Hope no one took it for granted. Universal is clearly trying to turn Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey into another Oppenheimer-style phenomenon, and by the looks of it, the studio's already succeeding. Huh, you may be thinking, how can a movie be successful if it isn't out for months? The massive production hasn't even wrapped principal photography. It's because Universal came up with a scheme as devious as Circe and her pigs. On Thursday at midnight, the studio began selling coveted tickets to see the film in IMAX 70 millimeter, some of the biggest screens in the country, a full year in advance of its planned release on July 17th, 2026. By the time you read this, it'll almost certainly be too late to snag a ticket of your own unless you were one of the thousands of people who bought them within minutes of the sale going live. Most screenings are already sold out, even the very front seat, which will likely make audiences feel like they're watching the narrative unfold from within the Trojan horse itself. This, by all accounts, the first time in recorded history that tickets of any sort have gone on sale a full year before a film's release, per The Hollywood Reporter, which does offer the caveat that only a few dozen IMAX screenings in the country have the ability to screen a 70 millimeter film, Nolan's preferred format. The film is currently being shot with IMAX cameras entirely, another first for a commercial release. This was a bold move by Universal because, yes, they are trying to gin up excitement for it the way people were excited for Oppenheimer because of the Barbenheimer phenomenon that we saw online. But this could also backfire on them because even with all those seats sold out, the scalpers may not get any customers, and so they'll be forced to just give up those seats. And so we might see some massive refunds. Now, that's just one scenario. Another scenario is people might be dumb enough to buy them and then give the scalpers all that money. We saw this with the PS5, right? Scalpers were pulling them off the shelves, sometimes maxing out credit cards and then selling them for sometimes triple what they were worth on the market. I actually took great delight in reading the Reddit post from a scalper who bought out his entire Best Buy's stock of PS5s, and then someone broke into his garage and stole them all, and he was crying online. No one should have their property robbed, but this guy was being a jerk. It's kind of one of those things, what they say, mess around and find out. I know there's a more vulgar way of saying that, but I'm not going to do that. But this will disappoint a lot of hardcore Christopher Nolan fans, including myself. Like I said, he is my favorite working director. His films are amazing. I even enjoy what some people consider his bad films, like The Dark Knight Rises or Interstellar. I think that they are good. I think people who criticize them don't understand them. And yes, I know I sound like every other person who claims to be a movie critic. Difference is, I don't claim to be a movie critic. I consider myself a movie reviewer. I've talked about the difference between the two in a video. You can go check that out. I do think that scalping needs to stop. I don't think making reselling illegal or banning it is going to help. If anything, that'll just encourage people to go on, the dark web to sell these things mixed in with all the other illicit products that are in that deep part of the internet. So I don't recommend that. But studios do need to figure out a way to curb this, because this could be a problem going forward. What if it's just a regular movie, or Harkins, Regency, Cinemax, AMC, or whoever is hosting the film? Are they going to let a whole host of internet anoms just buy up all their product, and then there are no butts in seats? Maybe so, because they still make money either way. So who knows? But personally, I think that we will see a backlash to this, and that hopefully Nolan will speak out and say, hey, don't do this. Let people buy the market price for the ticket. Hopefully he will. I'm not sure if he will. He's too busy making the movie. He's too busy making the Odyssey, which I think will be amazing. Ever since I first saw Batman Begins, I immediately went back and watched some of his other films, like Memento, Following, which was his first feature film, and several others. Nolan is a genius. He's good at thrillers and thinkers, as well as dramas and action and sci-fi. So I hope to see even more coming from him in the next few years. I honestly think every single one of his films is going to end up in the Criterion Collection, or in some sort of classics closet. Who knows where they're going to be, but I think that they are going to continue to get better and better. I love Nolan's films, and I can't wait to see what is on the horizon, and I can't wait to see the Odyssey next summer. If you like that video, be sure to give it a like, share it out to all your friends, leave me a comment on what you think, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. If you want to support me in the work that I do, head on over to my website, StudioJakeMedia.com, where you can find even more pop culture articles. And if you subscribe, you unlock certain perks, including being able to pick out the topic for either the website or for the vidcast. So thank you in advance. At that same website, there's a conveniently titled Buy My Books section where you can pick up one or all four of my released works. I really hope you do it. There's links all over the place, but they're all available on Amazon. Pick them up, leave me a 5-star review. It really helps out small indie creators like myself. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.
'Cause I've been living life right like I